So to answer your question, Rami, how did I get my head in there? Well, it's copious amounts of Crisco, and you want to go brand name for this because you don't want to skimp. Oh, I'll tell you later.
Welcome back, everyone. Going to the second half here at Drop Frames. Talking what we've been playing still, then we'll jump into some news. Koya killed the Awakener. How's that going? How's the PoE addiction? Or Sirius, yeah. Well,
yes, I killed Sirius. Oh man, this league, dude. I can't get over how much fun I'm having in this league. I'm currently working on filling out the rest of the Atlas. May go for A8 Sirius. I have a couple Maven areas that are getting close. Been getting like some of the high end kind of end game gear. Working on getting my status ailments to 100% guard. Got over almost 9K combined between my stuff now. But yeah, I've just been kind of going ham. I think I've spent probably 60 plus exalts or more on my character, which is definitely the highest I've done. This character is the highest level character I've ever had. Nice. And yeah, dude, it's a beautiful time to play PoE. It really is. It shines in almost every form. The end game is great. The acts are fun. The new lore has been cool. I've been like, I didn't get a chance to like listen to a lot of the stuff from the last one, so I've been like, every time I kill a Conqueror, I'll listen to a little thing at the end, which has been really fun. The voice acting is top notch in there as always, and yeah, man, it's cool. I'm having a great time with it. Not much more to report. Just a lot of fun.
All right, thanks for the PoE report. Back to Zeke. So Crisco, the
Crisco,
best.
Let's hear
it. Yep. Oh, you want? Okay. You got to check with the owner of the property first before you attempt anything. You know, on second thought, I was right the first time. This is better left out of this show. This has nothing to do with video games.
Okay, all right, I got you.
I just don't understand how you got her permission, but again, we'll take it offline.
Yeah,
dude, she's a goat. It's okay.
There, that was the question. But I mean, how...
Did I accidentally end up on a different show? Because I haven't understood a single word that has been really not a single word since the pod. Like it started with somebody's head going or something.
Yeah.
Then there were
look. We're also
then there was something about a serious, and now we're talking about a goat.
We like to try to make people believe that we're here for video games, but we're actually a sketch comedy group that we're going to be opening up a Kickstarter for our upcoming debut on Netflix here pretty soon.
Check out our stage show, Mission Improbable.
Money for the FIG, and the FIG is so we can set up our OnlyFans, and the OnlyFan income will go towards our Patreon, which will then support the improv, which will be the base of our potential comedy skit.
Correct. It's all about diversification in today's day and age.
You could have just put all that money in GameStop and been fine, y'all.
You know, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. We started the show, Rami, by the way. What have you invested?
I heard that Jeff Bezos invested in GameStop and got so rich that he stepped down.
It's true. He retired because of it. Yeah.
Oh, see, that's like I've heard different stories about this. He didn't like. Is it true that he didn't step down?
Correct.
He just became like the head of the board or whatever, which means. Like he doesn't have to take any more of the heat, but he still has all the power.
Yeah,
right.
Correct.
What he's doing is he's going in for a medical operation where they surgically remove the red bullseye on top of his head, and they're going to put that on somebody else, and then he can go to his plethora of private islands and kind of be there without being targeted, while this other gentleman takes most of the public.
Right.
Accurate.
I am very excited to hear that somebody at Amazon gets to take some time off.
Yeah.
Nice one.
He hasn't made enough money. So
yeah.
We're all a little worried about him, but he'll pull through.
Did I hear right that he's pursuing a career or like pursuing philanthropy? Is that correct, or is that just
I know. So the only story I know of Jeff Bezos is that a friend of mine was once invited to show a thing that they worked on at a Jeff Bezos party, and apparently they got an access card that allowed them in an hour ahead of the thing they wanted to show, and they had to be out 5 minutes after, and that was it. They also got paid like a ridiculous amount of money to show the thing, but apparently that's entertainment. Is they bring interesting inventions and things over, and then the inventor doesn't get to stay. That'd be weird.
All right.
Normal people in that building.
Parties that require like a unique access card. Like that's pretty great. And you get it in a small wooden box.
We're
made
talking
of
about
pure
Hitman,
mahogany.
right? This is the Hitman.
Probably.
I know.
It would be such a good Hitman level.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Sounds
No,
pretty fun.
Isn't that's like if I heard it right, that's like Edison's playbook, right? He'd take
Right.
like he'd take like
Edison
he'd
also
get
used that
the
card?
smartest minds and just claim all the shit for his own.
Oh, that makes sense, I guess.
Would
Anyways,
also
video
make a
games.
good Hitman level.
Yes, we need historical Hitman. That seems he's going to be a time traveling.
You know what? I genuinely
that.
thought Assassin's Creed was going to be that.
Yeah,
Back in the days, early on, that was what Assassin's Creed was. It was
that's
Hitman
true.
in the past, but also hack and slash every now and then.
And then The Witcher 3 came out. Yeah, it's very true. That's very true.
Now we have the final level of Hitman.
Yes. Which we go read Ko and Rami's Twitter for that one. They had a dialogue about it. I don't want to spoil it here. That's why I bring that up.
Are you like going back to what you originally brought up, JP? Are you at all like you're not invested in any of that? The stonks.
What did I bring up?
Stonks, are you, Rami?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no, no, I'm not. I think GameStop is also a US like stock, which from the Netherlands is just a little more annoying to deal with. I am very fine with my money growing the normal money way. Hopefully,
You can grow money.
Yeah. You put it in your garden and you water it.
Jesus, you got free healthcare. You could just grow money over there.
Only in
Fuck
Holland.
Yeah, Dutch money. Yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
I've been
Nightmare.
this is just reminding me of
Fucking
really
socialist.
this is
People
reminding
like
me of
Bezos would allow money trees to grow in the United States?
No,
No.
I don't.
Hell no.
you would patent them.
Yeah.
No, this reminds me of, remember that whole thing with that, I forgot what it was called, but it was this different Twitter for sort of like right wing something stuff. I don't remember what it was
Parler?
called. Yeah, it got shut down.
Correct.
And the only way you could access it was if you kept the app.
Right.
And on Twitter, it started going viral that you could fix Parler by uninstalling and reinstalling it.
Oh, I remember. That was good. That was a good one.
It was
I saw
the
that.
funniest. It was the funniest shit I've seen.
That's pretty good. I didn't see that one, but that's funny.
It was like when the new iPhone came out and it went viral on Twitter that the new iPhone floats. And it's just the funniest thing I've seen in years, where you're just like,
oh my
the
God.
responses
I
to
didn't
that
see
are
that
just
either.
like,
Oh. Dude,
You're on Goof
that was
Twitter. I
an
need to get
old
into your
grip.
Twitter world.
It's an old grift, an old troll. I remember it like from at least a decade ago on like things like MySpace and Facebook, where it's like, hey, if you type your password and post it to your page, it shows up as stars. And people would be like, like I think one of their passwords was like Mega Man 1. It's like, no, it doesn't. Like,
Right. My favorite thing was then in the responses, people go like, no, I only see stars, mate. I only see stars. Well, it's just saying Mega Man 1 and everybody that comes just like, I only see stars.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
The good old internet.
I miss that old internet. I will say, I genuinely miss the like small community. Like something like here actually is much closer. Like the chat here is much closer to old internet than Twitter is, right? It's a group of people with shared interests rallied around a common cause. So you have your own language, you have your own jokes, you have your own. I miss that internet. I wish I could go back to 2000s internet just with like live streaming on it, maybe.
You just got to make a new social media app and then stay on it for about a month. Like get in on what's that new one? The audio thing going around right now.
Oh, Clubhouse.
Yeah, get in on Clubhouse and then leave in about a week when it gets too big, and then.
I'm on Android, so it's not a.
Oh, I didn't realize it was iOS.
Apparently, it's iOS only.
We were having that discussion a while ago about like old communities and how they're just not existent anymore. A big one, for instance, was the MMO community. There wasn't like a bunch of MMOs. There was the group of people that played MMOs.
That's true.
And they all got together when a new one would come out, and everyone would go play that one because that was the only new MMO. Like Dark Age of Camelot came out, and everyone went to play that. And then it was Shadowbane, and then it was Anarchy Online. Yeah. And actually, I got that order backwards. But it was so cool. Like you'd go to a new MMO, you'd make the new, your new character and everything. You'd use the same name, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh hey, it's you. The other game we were
Right.
playing together, just
Right,
like
yeah.
randomly in the movie area. Oh, it's you, it's you. Oh man, dude, those were the days.
Yeah.
It was always very specific as well. Like my handle, actually, this is an embarrassing story.
Uh-oh.
My Twitter handle, THA, it's not a funny way of saying the, right? I'm not trying to say the, but just like that because the was taken. Back in the IRC days, I was like 14, 13, something like that.
Yeah.
And I had a Symbian phone. Symbian was an operating system for phones. Like the cool Nokias had it. But I couldn't buy the games. I didn't have a credit card. So I went on IRC and I found a group that would crack mobile games. Right? So I could play mobile games. And I learned to crack mobile games. And that group, embarrassingly, called itself the Hackers Association.
Nice.
And
Did you hack
the clan tag was THA.
Of course.
So I started as bracket THA bracket Rami. That was my handle, and then I went to, I think, StarCraft BattleNet, and I couldn't use the bracket, so it became THA _ Rami. And I just never moved away from that because that's what I was known as. And then I became an internet person that people follow, and now they're like, "Oh yeah, that, like, you're just trying to say the in a cool way," and I'm like,
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be it. But yeah, that's where my handle comes from. Still carry it. I still carry IRC with me.
I don't have a funny story, but my itmeJP comes from IRC as well. So
I'd like to make two comments. One, that is a fascinating story, Rami. I like that. Second of all, you have just taken a significant hit to your street cred.
It's true.
I thought you were the Rami. So
Yeah.
that's
Right.
kind of fortunate that you are not the Rami.
Yeah, your woke
Rami.
meter is falling. The stocks are dropping. Yeah.
But
I
to be
imagine
fair,
like WWE style entrances and stuff, you know?
right. I mean, the good news is I'll just hack the show and remove that part of the show so nobody knows.
Right. That's true. We'll have to. Yeah.
I am certainly glad that I dropped my old screen name because
Oh no.
I would hate to try and build a career on Poop Base 79
Yeah.
because
try.
69 was taken.
You
Man,
could try.
69 was taken, man.
Was that
Not-
must have
not
been
even
AIM because IRC doesn't matter if it's taken. That must have been AIM. Yeah. Okay. That was AIM.
Oh yeah, you
Yep.
guys had
Yeah,
AIM.
yeah.
We had MSN.
I used MSN as well. I had a lot of European friends.
Right.
They were like, "What's your MSN?" It's
MSN
like,
Messenger.
Bro, we use AIM. What the fuck is MSN? Yeah.
most
We
of my
used-
high school took place on AIM.
It was
True.
MSN Messenger and IRC for me. That was and ICQ. I only remember the first 3 numbers of my ICQ number.
I don't remember mine.
217 and then other stuff.
I got in early. I remember I had like a short ICQ number, and that was like I would go to LAN parties and be like, "What's your ICQ, dude?" And then they'd tell me, "But oh, mine's shorter by like 2 digits." And we don't fucking care, you idiot. Like, what are you doing?
Is that when you and that's when you shoot him the flex?
No, that's when I put my hood up and walked away and with a little bit of swag, and then booted up Quake. Yeah, and that's how that went. Anyways, video
the coolest
games.
person in the room.
100%. Cause you played the medium. How is
Yes.
is that the score as well? Like, how is the medium? I've heard okay things about this game. Where do you sit with the medium?
Ready?
And also, am I free to show footage of it? Is it spoilery?
Yeah, I mean you can.
Okay,
Say it's fine.
all right.
The medium is medium. That
Wow.
go.
Okay.
Nice. Good.
Uh,
You got it.
uh,
You got it. Wait, let
all
me. Can you do that one again?
no.
Okay. Too bad. I was preparing my laugh.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
sorry. No, the thing is here's how I feel about the medium. I feel similarly to the medium as I do this game called Close to the Sun. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that game. It was an interesting kind of first-person adventure game, and the thing about these games is you can kind of get connected to them. They are relatively interesting, but the thing is there's this type of game that makes you want it to go a particular way, or you come up with these ideas in your head where it's like, man, I like where this is going because I think this is happening. And then Firewatch is a good example for me too. And then it's like you're taking this journey and you enjoy the journey, but then when you get to the destination, you're just like, Oh. And as cool as the journey was at that point, there's no question that influences like the when you look back, you know, the hindsight 2020 moment. When you look back, you're like, I know I was having a good time with it. Like I did enjoy it. It was a good time. There was times when I was like, this is cool. I'm really liking this. But then that ending is just kind of like, yeah. And in this case, kind of like where they decided to how they decided to wrap it up. There are some really cool parts of it. It very much is kind of like a walking simulator with some very light puzzle elements, some very light stealth elements, but it is mostly a walking simulator. There's some cool things it does with the camera. There are some interesting things that it does with the narrative and the story. And like I said, there were times when I was kind of like, man, I'm looking forward to seeing where they're taking me on this. But then again, as I got closer and closer to the end, and I started to see the writing on the wall, and then especially when kind of the very last stuff happened, it became muddy. The kind of clear lens I was hoping, the big kind of questions answered ending I was hoping for, instead was something very different that I wasn't expecting, and it kind of, you know, it ended with a whimper instead of the bang I was hoping. So that was kind of unfortunate. Yeah, but I will say, there are some very cool parts about the game. It's doing some very interesting things with the double vision. Like there's parts of the game where
was that early, late, all throughout the game?
It happens all throughout the game, but it is sporadic.
Okay.
So there's some parts of the game, just for those that haven't seen it, where basically the character is a medium. She's a certain type of medium where she can kind of see into the spiritual world, but she's in the real world as she does it. So the way that the game does it is it basically renders two different versions. And you can see, it happened to me too. It renders two different versions where the even the camera will switch around, like you just saw, where you can kind of like see the two different worlds at once. It's a very cool concept. There were definitely times when I would miss things because I'd be like focused on one and then kind of like trying to figure out which one the game wants me to look at, because it would like switch camera angles on one and not the other, and stuff like that. But it was a cool effect. I mean, I got to admit, it was very creative, and later on, especially, it does some fun stuff, where you have to exist in both worlds at once and solve puzzles in parallel, and like doing one thing in one world alters the other world, and you know, kind of goes back and forth. And yeah, like this girl in particular, like you can see, like her arm is like fleshy and see-through. You can see into the bones of her rib cage and stuff on the side of her. Her legs don't really join to her body properly. Like there's some crazy stuff in the game for sure. And I think people that are a fan of that kind of stuff could probably find, you know, a good time in the narrative. It is a little short, especially for the price. Thankfully, though, it is on Game Pass, so I think it's definitely worth nothing. So if you already are paying for Game Pass, and so you know, it's worth your time, basically.
Yeah, it's worth free.
These days is, you know, some games I wouldn't necessarily say that about. But you know, it's definitely worth that. And I would say it's probably more of a sale game, if nothing else. Yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed the journey a lot more than the destination.
What is this? I guess this is like saying, hey, what is the story of this game? But what is are you just like helping spirits pass, or are you like solving how they died? Like what?
It's a little bit more ambiguously specific, like that term. Basically the character undergoes this kind of slight traumatic event at the beginning, and then she is breadcrumbed to this location where there was this huge mysterious event that transpired. And when she gets there is when you kind of start unraveling like
what's happening. Okay.
A whole bunch of things at once. It's not just like, you know, psychic investigator goes to solve crimes. Like there's a lot more stuff at play as it transpires, and you learn about the locations and the events and what happened, and you know, all sorts of things.
Sure.
Is it a one sitting game?
It can be. I definitely was taking my time looking around the environments. I think it took me about 8 hours. I mean, if you were to kind of, you know, hold down the power jog button, it's not a run button, it's more of a brisk jog. Then you could probably get through it in like 6-ish hours. It's by no means a difficult game. It like I said, it's mostly a walking simulator. You pretty much have a good idea what you're supposed to be doing at all times. game kind of does a good job of giving you little hints and mechanics to lead you where you need to go. So it's mostly just about kind of experiencing the world and the story.
Talking a little bit outside of the game itself and more along the lines of like, this is the first like Microsoft exclusive that they put out on the new console, right? How do you like, where do you judge it in that, or can you judge it in that? And like, does it instill confidence in like, you know, what Xbox has coming up for the future? Is it hard to like all the above?
Although I liked it, and I had a good time with it, the length of it was a little bit concerning. It felt at times more like they were just kind of like demoing cool tech than it was like, you know, having a cogent, really fun game. It is light on gameplay. I mean, it is a very light on gameplay game. I mean, what you're looking at right now is what you do for most of the game. It's not like a Resident Evil or a Silent Hill where, you know, you're constantly getting items and figuring out puzzles and stuff like that. Although there is some of that for sure, it is significantly lighter than in those cases. Also, I think this kind of speaks highly about how the developers perceive the game themselves. For instance, in one of the later levels, there was a puzzle element I had to do, and every single time I'd come in front of the puzzle element, I would get a prompt in English across the screen in how to do it. So it's very much the devs were kind of like, this isn't the focus. You know, we're going to remind you every single time you get up to this, how to do this, like what button to press, how does, you know, what direction to push. And yeah, it very much is kind of like a walkthrough. You just kind of like make your way through the game. It is interesting, and it does a lot of unique things. So that part is encouraging. Like I liked the fact that it was a very standalone experience in terms of how it was. And like I said, I feel like I would be feeling a lot different about it at this point if the ending had been a little bit more of that bang I was hoping for. So, you know, it could have been significantly better. But even then, the journey was fun, and I will say that it bodes relatively well moving forward. I do hope, especially for the cost, they get a little bit more meat in it. At 8 hours, exclusive is a little rough, especially when I think they are charging $60 for it, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll look it up. Yeah, I don't know what they're charging. Let's see.
Yeah, being on Game Pass is big, of course. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was good. It was, like I said, it certainly wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was a solid medium.
Sorry, it forced me to log in when I go to the Xbox. And I tried to just price something by going to GameStop, and I typed in the medium GameStop, and the first link takes me to a Dragon Ball Z hoodie. So clearly I'm just like bad at Googling. I don't know what to tell you guys here. I don't know how much this game cost. Even typing in the medium gives me Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I don't know. Get it on Game Pass. I don't know what the fuck. What does GameStop do?
Stonks.
This is ridiculous.
Did it run all right? Some people said, "Oh, it's 40 to 45." Okay, well, I mean, that's a better price. That's a better price for sure. Still, maybe even a little much. I'd say maybe more with the length and everything, maybe more like a 30. Although the graphics and everything were top notch. I did hear that some people were having some performance issues. I didn't get too many of those. It ran pretty smooth for me the whole time.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that was good.
I think most of those issues were coming from people that were playing on Xbox. At least that I saw. I watched a Digital Foundry report on it that said it was. Also, there's a fucking TV show called The Medium. This thing's just, the SEO is just fucked on this thing. It's just out there. Who cares how much this game?
Yeah, Medium is like a type of like, that's just gonna like. Yeah.
Even if you wanted to buy the game, you will never find it.
Dude, I don't know how you search for, like, they should have added like The Medium : an Xbox game or something. It's impossible to search for this thing on the internet. It's just fucked.
A friend of mine has a game launching tomorrow called Nuts, and he's been very upset about the name for a long time because it's like, yep.
Yeah.
It's a very good game though. It's a squirrel surveillance game.
Okay, let's see. Nuts Steam. Is it all caps?
Believe, if I'm not mistaken, I did the indie. It wasn't called Indie Showcase, but it was something like that. I think we talked to him about him. Yeah. He's a funny dude.
Yeah,
Yon is great.
This game had its like debut at one of the showcases we watched, either the PC Gamer one or one of those, didn't it?
Might have been PC Gamer. Yeah.
It's coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
Dude is super nervous about it. It's been really adorable, and every time he tweets about it, I can't help myself. I have to just respond with "That's nuts," and I can't stop. I cannot stop.
If you would like to instill a sense of confidence, typing "nuts Steam," he is the number one search, at least on Google.
Wow,
so
Steam, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. There's a lot of nuts.
There's a lot of nuts on Steam.
Yeah.
I wish him the best of luck. This is the point of development where there's nothing you can do anymore. Right? There's just nothing.
Everything's been done. Yeah.
You are there, and all you can do is wait to see whether people hate you tomorrow.
I was a little apprehensive
right now, staring at Rami.
Right.
Yeah, Rami.
No, if he tweeted earlier today, and the photo is literally that. Like, that's his face.
Makes sense. I get it.
No, the day one patch. The day one patch you made a week ago. If everything's okay, your day one patch is in by now. You don't day one patch on day one. That's not how that works at all.
Yeah.
If you make your day one patch on day one, it'll be a week one patch.
It's true. Zeke, what were you saying?
I was a little apprehensive at first in Googling. I wanted to see what would happen if I Googled nuts game. First thing that comes up.
No, he's got great SEO on it. Yeah. I mean, the mediums, it's rough. People think you're trying to buy clothes, Xbox clothes, hoodies. It's rough. That's about what I expected, though, for that game. It sounds like I don't know.
So it sounds medium.
Yeah. The proof is in the name there.
See, this time Zeke laughed. He even only listens to the jokes if I make them.
You hear?
I definitely saw that too.
No, see, we've been doing this show.
It's like, yeah.
We've been doing this show so long that I have tapered off to almost 0% polite laugh at JP Orco. You still get it, but you're tapering off, bud. I'm letting you know right now. It's going to be 0 here pretty quick.
That tank is getting empty.
So you also played, and I think are continuing to play a little bit of the Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, which is currently in beta. How is this going? Is it in a better state than the previous Pathfinder releases from the same studio?
It's so good.
And
that's my max
I think that's
I'm going to ride him one day. I'm playing a Cavalier right now.
Wait.
It's not large enough yet. He's still a little baby mastodon.
I had selective hearing there. Hold on. Roll it back. You said you're going to ride chat?
Oh, I'm going to ride it into the ground.
Okay.
Yeah. Gets me all sorts of bonuses, too. It's great.
Wait, why do you have a baby woolly man? Hold on. I have so many questions.
Okay. I am one of the new classes, a Cavalier. My subclass is a Beast Rider, which lets me ride various other types of animals than a horse. There's mounts available in this game. So when I start the game as a Cavalier, as a medium race, I can't yet ride my adorable baby mammoth Chat because Chat is not large enough to support my girthy weight as a half-orc. So at level 7, Chat becomes grown up. Cat's going to grow up at level 7. And then I can plop myself down on it and ride it into the ground.
It's like the time I played this game called Crashlands, and at the start it's like, do you want to name your pet? And I named my pet after my girlfriend at the time. And that turned out to be a terrible idea because later on it went, do you want to milk your pet with the name? And I was just like, I think I'm done with this game. And that's the last time I played that game.
Wow, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was extremely uncomfortable.
Hopefully she wasn't around when you thought.
Or was it
more about, hey, you got to come look at this? Like,
which... Nope, I was just like, and delete this game. And we will never speak of it again.
I say and do stupid things a lot. That's no one is under any delusion that I don't. And even I was like, that's a bad plan, son. Bad idea.
Who would have thought that you were going to milk your pet later on in the game? That is not a thing that I'm used to from video games.
Yeah. So anyway, Pathfinder. Yeah, it's great. Lots of new classes, a whole new world. It is so clear that Owlcat has made great strides in not only how they can deliver their story, but technically, I mean, now you can rotate the camera around, which is a huge step. It does it well. There's been very few bugs. It is beta. I'm playing the beta right now. So there are of course things that aren't in due to beta. They actually gave us a list of stuff, and pretty much that's been accurate. There is just huge amounts of cool characters, lore, The levels have been fantastic. Everything seems to be working. Right, I would contest that right now, what I've played so far over 8-ish hours in 2 days
Yeah.
is more cogent and put together than Pathfinder Kingmaker was on release. And they have 4+ months to go with this game. And that's just if they decide to keep their summer release date, which they haven't confirmed recently. I've been keeping little notes to give to the devs. I actually gave this to the devs in Discord later after the stream today, and they were like, "Oh, hey, these are great suggestions. Thanks." And I was just like, "Awesome. Okay, let's make it happen."
Yeah.
But there's so many cool things. They've redone all the UIs. Like for instance, this is a game like Baldur's Gate or a TTRPG where it is so traditionally confusing at times to have like different items of different bonuses that stack properly, because like if you put on a certain type of bracer that has natural AC, where your character has armor on that already has that AC, so it doesn't stack properly, you have to go into your stats and stuff. Well, every single value, including the rolls, you can mouse over and it will tell you exactly what's influencing that roll, where the pluses come from, where the negatives come from. You can mouse over those and it'll tell you where those came from. You put two items on that don't stack, an exclamation point appears over both of them. You mouse over that, and it's like, this item doesn't stack with that item. Like all of these awesome little QOL features that we wanted from Kingmaker are now in this one. So far it's been great. It just feels like more. The story's been engaging. It's this super cool kind of story about like these this region of mortals that exists with like these demons surrounding them, and they have to use these certain god-given artifacts to keep them out. And like at the very slight spoilers. It happens at the very beginning. Is that okay if I talk about it? Like, okay, slight spoilers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my hand up for this for anyone that wants to see themselves. At the very beginning, like basically this gigantic demon sweeps in and like destroys the main artifact. So at the very beginning of the game, you're kind of like just like, holy shit. He basically slices the main town in half, destroys the main artifact that keeps the demons out of the mortal realm, and that like begins this giant chain of events. The whole city gets destroyed. Like, it's super awesome. Yeah.
Real quick, just so I say it out loud, is it true Barry said that this game doesn't have like a title in the Twitch library?
I think it does.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because the box art like doesn't show up or something.
I don't think that's box art. No,
it's definitely got the game title. Yeah, it's in beta. So
okay.
Yeah, it's beta. So that's relatively normal.
All right,
but yeah,
Barry,
everything in this game so far has just been like Kingmaker and more. And what's even cooler is I have not even gotten to the part that is supposedly really making this game stand out. So basically in Pathfinder Kingmaker, the entire like Gwent of that game, the big mini game in that one was kingdom management, where you built up cities all over the world and you could build buildings and things of that nature. Well, in this one, there is this new thing called a mythic path. And mythic paths are something that unlock based on your choices and what you do throughout the game, like angel, devil, archon, lich, things like that. And basically it is choosing your ultimate ability and how you lead and dictate an army. And then that game plays out based on a Kickstarter goal that was reached, like old school Heroes of Might and Magic. So there is like this whole army leading plugin thing that I haven't gotten to yet that I'm super excited to check out. And the game itself has its own legs to stand on. Like, this would already be an awesome game without any of that. But if that stuff turns out to be cool and intuitive and interesting, like, this game is way ahead in terms of just like sheer quality. It is very clear from the beta that Owlcat is one of those companies that is like continually improving in how they do this stuff. And the fact that this is the state it's in 4 months before release is a very good sign.
Can you buy into the beta, or what's the?
I think it's a little more expensive than normal right now. I think you can buy like a pack and then add in beta access or something like that. I'll need to get more details on that.
Yeah.
I'm a significant backer from the Kickstarter, so I had like all of that stuff rolled into whatever mine was. So I'm not sure of exacts. It's $114 to get into beta right now. So it's not for people that want to play beta. Yeah, it's for people that want to like help. The devs, however, have a very active Discord, and they've made it very clear that like they're in that Discord paying attention. So this is a beta that is similar to the release of Kingmaker, where it's like they're listening, they're taking notes, and you'll probably see patches over the next days and weeks that like a lot of the stuff from the Discord gets put in. So they're a very community-oriented team, and yeah, very excited about this one for sure.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember when that first one came out, all the issues that you brought to the show and talked about, and it seems like they have changed internally kind of how that stuff is being worked on now from a game development side of things. So it's cool to see that change a year or so after the fact.
Real
Maybe
quick
more
to
than
answer this. Somebody said, would you suggest beta? Is it worth playing? I never suggest beta for people that ask, is the game worth it? Because a beta is never something that you would establish worth with. If you are interested in this game, you want to help with the development, and you are already planning on, sinking money into it, then absolutely. It's like Baldur's Gate 3. Like, if you know what you're getting into, do it. But is it worth it situation? Absolutely not. It is not worth it. It is not the whole game. It's only the first 3 chapters. It's buggy. There's tons of stuff that don't work properly. It's a beta. It's an actual beta, and not just like a marketing term that a lot of companies like to use.
God.
It is a real beta. So on that note, only get into it if you know exactly what you're getting into, and if you don't, if you're asking that question, you most likely want to wait until release, which is again only like arguably potentially 4 months away.
Yep, cool. Someone in my chat said that one of the I don't want to say hurdles, but self-imposed hurdle that they've put on themselves is they're trying to include like everything from Pathfinder, like from the tabletop. Do you know if that's, can you speak to that at all?
All I know is there's tons of stuff in this game, dude. I mean, one of the features I suggested to them was a search bar for the feats. I mean, just let that sink in. Like, there's so many different feats in this game that it's like, it is huge. Like, this right here is the rest screen, where you can like brew potions and do scrolls. You have a night watch to set up. There's a corruption thing you have to manage. There's just tons and tons of different things, like little mechanics that are kind of built on top of other mechanics. Owlcat did a pretty good job of managing this in Kingmaker, and even though they definitely missed a lot of stuff in that they wanted to get in Kingmaker, they have that foundation to work off. So I don't think I wouldn't say they've bitten off too much more than they can chew, because a lot of the work was already done. They're using the same Pathfinder system from Kingmaker, and I feel like that was probably the brunt of it. Granted, there were a lot more classes than I thought would be in this game. Like, there's a good amount of new ones. Then all of those have like 5 subclasses. The subclass selection can completely change how a character plays. So yeah, it's wild. There's a huge amount in this game.
Yep, sounds like it. We'll definitely circle back on it in the coming, I guess, months when it finally ships. And you're saying 4 is what they're
warning to streamers. There is no voice acting right now. It is a very
say no more
game. This is my salt water that I've been gargling over the last couple days. I've got throat lozenges too. They basically, there's times when it's just like an hour straight of co-reads. Granted, it's very well written, and I mean it's a lot of it's really good dialogue and stuff, but it is a lot of reading.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that way though. They said it was going to be similar to Pathfinder Kingmaker, where the main story backbone will be voice acted.
Cool.
You know what? You just gave me an idea. Next time I find a game that I really want to play, like a la Disco Elysium, that I just can't muddle through on stream because of the dense dialogue reading it, I'm thinking maybe some sort of reward system, like, I don't know, like a Steam game or something like that, but getting someone, a volunteer or several from chat to read for me.
I funny enough, Zeke, I have actually talked to somebody about hiring them as a voice actor, and I was going to broadcast my stream to them over Discord, and they were going to do all of the reading.
Ooh. Are they union or are they not a union?
Yeah,
they were union, which is why when I heard the price, I said, you know what? I'm going to table that for now.
Right.
I don't know. If I want to be
I'll read my own damn words.
Okay.
But
no,
there's also a maximum to how long they can read.
Cool idea, but it's that is a huge amount. Thankfully, with Disco Elysium, full voice acting later this year.
Yeah. It would have to be something that they'd be willing to do voluntarily, like for free, like community theater. Like, I am no stranger to not getting paid for doing artistic shit. I did it for 25 years of my life. Like, that's fine. I enjoyed the shit out of it. So it'd have to be something you already are going to enjoy. So I want to do this at some point, but just bear that in mind. Like, I'll give you something, but it's not going to be what you're worth.
So I found somebody who can read your games for you.
Yeah,
he's there.
He's over there. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey Zeke, want to make a few bucks?
Yep.
He'll do it for free.
We'll talk.
No, he just said he'll do it for free. We've got him on tape.
Oh, great,
He's
perfect.
rolled
Oh,
back.
even better. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll eat some chicken,
Oh,
throw him a few bones, and I'm
Oh,
done.
not now. I won't do it for. Oh, no.
There you go.
Darn.
Yep.
A solid 8.
Right. Voice acting is expensive, yo. Like people
Hell
always
yeah.
go like, "Well, why don't you just voice act the game?" I'm like, "Have you checked the rates for like an hour of voice reading?" That's when you get bad VO. Like if you want good VO, you also need a director, you need a writer, you need to like massage the script a little bit to sound a bit better in the spoken word, and they need different people to be at the same. Like holy crap,
There's a lot going on there. Yeah,
shit gets expensive.
Also, I would
anytime you act
imagine
voice acting, it's union stuff, so you have to be paid a certain amount. Like
Right.
I had to sign up to join like temporary guilds when I did this stuff for
Right.
Cyberpunk. They wouldn't. I was like, I'll just do it for free. They were like, no, you won't.
Nope, because you will actually
You will not do
actually
that.
prohibit them from working with all of their other voice actors.
Yep.
If you do it for free, they can no longer use anybody else, which is
if you've ever been like on a set for a commercial or anything like that, and like noticed something like this is something I noticed. Someone like picked up something and like put it somewhere else, and the director was like went over to him like, you can't do that.
Yep.
Like what? I just moved I moved it like 5 feet. Like nope, that is somebody else's job. It's a union job, which means you don't get to fucking touch it.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Working at MLG for as long as I did, and working at convention or going to MLG events that were at convention centers, there were a lot of yelling arguments about that exact thing that you just said between like the head of MLG and the head of the union, because like someone moved a box.
right.
Mhm.
At PAX, same thing.
Oh yeah.
One of the PAXs is one of the PAXs is under union. One of the PAX convention center is not unionized.
Oh wow.
So at one
Okay.
of them, you do not touch, do
Right.
not move. You go into the building. If the box is there, the box is there. If the box is not there, deal with it. But don't bring it yourself. Like box stays outside. You can bring individual items in, just don't bring the box in.
Yep. And we
For
sound
those
very negative about it, but this is all generally a good
Oh,
thing.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's generally a good thing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
a little bit sometimes weird to navigate.
A little
For those of you thinking, oh, I'm sorry, Cole, go ahead. What's that?
Go ahead, please.
For those of you thinking that it might be like a US thing, this is not just
shit.
a US thing.
Sorry, my burrito or my curry is here. Give me 1 second.
Good luck.
Did you order both?
I think he did. Yeah, he
Wait,
asked Chad
they
and
don't
ordered both.
They don't just leave it at the door for you.
Look, it's,
Dude, that's the best thing to come out. Like of all the shitty things, no contact delivery has been fucking awesome.
yeah, I will say that it is annoying though when you do get someone that wants to have some contact when delivering, and you're just like, get away from the, get away! I don't want to talk to you. Get back in your car.
Oh, I don't open the door, dude.
Oh,
I let it.
I've
sit
had a
there
couple
until
people that
they
like.
leave.
I've had a couple people that are just like, "Hey, how's it going? All right, thanks for ordering from us. Have a good day." And I'm like, get back.
I just get like a real quick hug. Just like I just need to see somebody.
They just want some human contact. With like, get back. Hiss at him a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
No, I hope they keep that. I hope they keep that as an option. Like for everything. Like, would you like contactless delivery?
No.
Yes. Would you like
Or
that
yes.
every time? Yes, every time. Just leave it at the door. I tip well. Don't get me wrong. I do tip, but I don't need to see your face to tip you. Like I know what kind of job you're doing. I know it's shitty. I'll give you a nice, a nice percentage tip. Just, I would tip you not to talk to me actually, and that's what I feel like I'm doing.
That's true.
Just like drop it, and we'll go. Because it's not because it's the person. It's because I fucking loathe small talk, and that's all you do.
Mm.
That's all you do with delivery people.
Yeah.
It's
I feel
small
like that would
talk.
be a
and
great,
I fucking
a
hate
great
it.
line to take out of context with Zeke. Just like to make a clip of him just going, I would tip you not to talk to me.
That should actually be your tip notification on your stream. Is you saying
Your audio right there.
Yeah.
I will tip you not to talk to me.
I agree. We found a winner. I heard Rami rummaging through there. I think we're going to jump into a little bit of news before we depart. I know Zeke played some other stuff. I played a bunch of stuff, but we'll table that till next week and talk about it then. Because having Rami here will provide insight. He's not here right now, but it gives us some insight into a lot of things that are happening in the industry that otherwise we wouldn't have. So now we awkwardly wait. Do you think he's getting utensils? Do you think Rami's a spork guy? I think he loves sporks.
Could be.
Like he might be big into sporks.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was some like a text file on his hard drive with like a dissertation on a spork.
Probably.
Like he's a navel gazer. He's one of those people that like looks at something weird and then has to like expound on it. Like no matter what it is, like the spork is very strange. And let me tell you in several paragraphs why I think this way.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so. He's really, I thought the sport conversation would buy enough time, but not for Rami. Now I'm curious if he didn't get either a burrito or what. Oh, here he comes. Oh, he was opening a drink. That's what he was doing. Okay. All right. Rami, are you a sport guy? We have an important question for you.
Depends on the sport.
What the fuck does that mean?
Vindication. I knew he'd have an opinion.
Jesus. All right. Well, anyways, on that note, let's just leave it at that. Let's talk about some of the news of the past week. Some of the biggest news, Google Stadia has shut down its internal studios, changing its business focus. To no one's surprise, it's really maybe the end of that headline that they left off here on the article I'm reading from. Yeah, like, Rami, what's your...
It is a surprise.
Is it for you think?
Yeah.
Google dropping and abandoning something that they had?
Oh, no, that's not a surprise. That they did it to Stadia, though, is a little bit of a surprise.
Really? How so?
If you've talked to them, right? I'm sure I'm wading into like NDA-esque territory here.
Sure.
But if you talk to them, they threw a tremendous amount of resources at doing this, and they've built up quite a bunch of goodwill in the industry over the way they've been funding things, over the way they've been running things, over the way they've put people in power that had real potential. Putting like Jade Raymond up on the top of that studio, like that's not a small move you do.
Right.
And even though I'm used to Google dropping stuff, I kind of believe that they had put people in charge that would be able to convince between Jade, that they would have that those people would be given enough overweight to at least hold back Google corporate for 2 or 3 years. Right? That they would at least have enough time to prove once that they could make a video game. Because, like, I'll be honest, Jade is a gem, right? She's incredibly good at what she does. She walks that line between business and creative incredibly well. I would not think Jade would take this job if she did not genuinely believe she was going to get the chance to make it. And the fact that that commitment was walked back on, I mean, I expected them to shut it after the first game, for sure, right? Like that was like a 90% certainty. But to shut it before they even got a chance to show anything, that honestly is a little surprising to me. Like it shows that their third-party deals are probably going better, but it sounds like they're just moving it to business. Right? They're moving it as a support platform for Sony or Microsoft or anybody who wants to offer games.
Yeah, cheaper to get someone else to make the games and less overhead in that sense, less risk.
I mean, Amazon figured out that lesson. Google found out that lesson. It turns out game development is not an easy thing to do. And if you want to maximize your profits for shareholders, the best way to make video games is to not make video games.
To sell video games that other people have made.
Right, which is why it's honestly every time people are like, this studio is like greedy or something, I'm like, y'all don't understand. If these people were greedy, this industry wouldn't exist. Like this betting on a video game with money is probably the dumbest bet you can make in your life, because it's like 3 years of throwing money at it and then somebody on a stage says like, "Y'all have mobile phones, right?" And then your game is tanked, and that's it. That's it. Then you're done. Like there goes your millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But yeah, that they killed it before anything. Yeah, that honestly, I was not disappointed, but definitely surprised. Like I could not be disappointed in Google at this point. Like they're at the bottom of the. I can't be more disappointed than this in anything. I think they messed up Stadia every step of the way consistently from launch. While the tech is good, it works well, but God. I mean, Amazon killing their game stuff. Now that was not surprising,
right? Yeah, that's the other
news. The article that came out recently.
Which one?
Right.
Oh, Jason Schreier basically ripped into Amazon games studio and basically talked about how like when the guy was hired, he hadn't even made a game before, and he was just buddies and kind of just they had no idea what they were doing. Like it's
Amazon lifer. Right? It was the word they used. He was an Amazon lifer.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
I have not read that article yet. I need to.
It is relatively new. Would definitely recommend that after.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being an Amazon lifer?
Probably pays well.
I would imagine having a swimming pool of $100 bills. But the thing that's interesting about this Stadia thing is, they of course, to do something like Stadia in the first place shows a certain amount of aloofness or just unbridled bullishness in terms of we can make this work when so many companies have failed.
Right.
And there's a certain amount of that anyway. But then you have to have this understanding at this point that they realize the kind of meme level that Stadia has reached in its current state, the amount of traction that it's lost. So they would have to understand. And this is the one thing that makes me kind of wonder about something Rami just said, where it's like we have to assume their third-party deals are going better. But in a situation like that, it's just kind of like they understand where Stadia is, and you also know right now what the public perception is going to be if we shut down the only first-party studio we had for this platform. Like the amount of public faith in something like this, the amount of public faith third-party developers would have in something like this is a huge blow. I mean, this happened, and what did everyone say? Not, oh look, we're not going to get a Stadia game. Everybody, well, Stadia's dying.
Right. Yeah.
Step one, here we go. This is the death throes. This is us watching the collapse of Stadia as a whole. They had to have known that. So by going in and with the perspective of them understanding that, this was a big move.
Yeah, I will say, I immediately emailed them with being like, "Hey, you need third-party games? If you pay me, I'll make some third-party games." I mean, they'll probably be out of business in like 2 years, so I might as well take their money, right?
Yeah, I mean, they do have kind of like it is Google, right? Literally.
If anybody from Google was listening, just ignore what I just said.
Just ignore what I said and keep reading that email I sent. Yeah. What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. By all means.
Well, I was going to say, somebody in chat said, and this is a good point, Stadia tech problem is systematic to what the issue is with infrastructure all over the world for connectivity and system centers. It can't be fixed right now. That's what everyone said when Stadia came out. That's been one of the reasons all these other companies have failed. Like, that's one of the main reasons. Everyone was like, Google, this isn't going to work. It doesn't matter how much you want it to work. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at it. Like, unless everybody has like insanely low ping fiber, like something like this is fundamentally flawed from working properly. I have a damn good internet connection. There were Stadia games for me that ran like complete ass, unplayable ass on a 1,000 down, 60 up. It's like, and that's going to happen in a lot of places. Some people are going to get great performance, and some people did. But when you're trying to get a console out to a lot of people, you aren't targeting some people. Like when you're trying to be the next generation of this stuff, even having a small percentage of your user base getting poor performance, that's your vocal minority. So it's like that's, and then everyone else is going to look at them and go, "Oh, okay, like what's going on?" GeForce Now is different, by the way. But anyway,
I do feel that what Google was doing was trying to not reach the people who care about what people on Twitter and Twitch say, though. Like, I feel like the play with Stadia was always like,
The normies.
get random people.
Yeah.
Get the people that have a Chromecast in the back of their TV to play whatever the hell is out there.
Get the moms who have a kid that want to play something, and
Right. Not my mom. My mom is just diehard PlayStation 5, but like other moms, maybe.
She's a gamer with a capital G. Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing too, talking about the fact that when Stadia launched, with what Ko was just saying, like, it was also one of those things where it's like, well, maybe Google is so big that it's if they build it, they will come type scenario here. And it just says to me, like, no, this tech is probably just never going to go anywhere, right? Like the world, this was the test. It failed or is failing. And so you'll start to see it spin off into become a business. It'll become probably like an Epic Game Store type deal, right? I guess the other thing is people that have bought into the service, like, what happens if they bought a bunch of games? Do they just lose those when Google says, I'm done? Right? Like, how does that go? It doesn't make people want to buy into that service, especially for that very reason. And so I don't know. Well, it's one of those things where it's like, well, what's their plan? Like, what do they do a year from now? What do they do 2 years from now?
I mean, probably, honestly, supporting other companies doing streaming, because the streaming service is surprisingly good, right? And like, I know in North America, the experience isn't great, but Google has some of the best edge servers in the world, like super good connectivity in many places where there is good internet. NA is sort of like a weird territory, and there's parts of Africa and parts of South America that similarly don't have great internet. But I'm right next to an edge server, right? Like it's I think within 100 kilometers of here. Stadia for me runs great. I can literally the PlayStation 5 Destiny 2 experience to me was identical to the Stadia experience. Like it just ran great. It loaded everything instantly. It was great. The thing is, what Google is messing up here has nothing to do with the tech. They're messing up the money part. I don't understand how Google messes up the money part. They mess up the money part. They mess up the marketing part. All they needed to do was get a bunch of good studios, get a bunch of good people, and have a game ready when Stadia launched. Have
the killer app,
the features ready that they promoted to be ready. Sony gets to get away with having one exclusive. Microsoft gets to get away with basically having nothing on Xbox with the new Xbox, right? They get to get away because we already know that they will deliver. Stadia doesn't get to get away with that. What did they launch with?
It kind of sounds like to me the way you just described it. It sounds like they have all the money to throw at something and none of the drive. They just have all this money. It's like, no, fix it. Here, no more. Fix. Here's more money. Here's like buckets and bales of cash.
And I guess they ran out of bills of cash. They can't convince the people in charge to throw more bills of cash at it. But the problem was trying to fix problems that way. They should have tried and fix it by playing the game the proper way, which in game development means, like, listen, gamers, gamers are a particular audience. There's no audience like gamers. They're relatively well informed. They're vocal. They have a community of memes, of in-jokes, of ways of looking at things. And as soon as something takes hold in that community, you don't get rid of it. So the moment Stadia was declared a bad thing, they lost.
That's what stuck.
Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Because they could make the best service that runs 100% fine everywhere, and it would still take 2 or 3 years for the idea that it doesn't run well to go away, right? They messed it. They messed it up real bad. I don't understand. How can you have Jade not have her finish it? Like, let Jade and Amy Hennig finish games, please.
Right.
Like, just the two. Like, let both of them finish a game.
Do you think Microsoft picks them up? There's always the chatter of Microsoft's throwing money around behind the scenes.
Microsoft's making like a AAA game a month off of Game Pass. Shit's messed up.
Do you think they're already fishing over there for Jade and Amy?
Sure hope so. I hope that's why Jade went like, I'm out.
Right.
Probably she got the news like a week ago. I hope she sent an email to Microsoft. I hope that her contract doesn't block her from doing that.
Yeah. Is it standard? Like, or not? Non-competes are obviously a thing anywhere, but like,
right.
Maybe they're locked out for an amount of time. I don't know.
Probably for an amount of time. Yeah. And because Microsoft has a competing service, it might be even more relevant. But I'm guessing that since they shut down her studio, she can work her way out of that.
Yeah. A lot of
red
tape, regardless.
What the hell? Like, I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it.
Yeah. It is interesting to see that, as well as the Amazon news of Amazon. What is is it Amazon Games? Is that just the name of
Amazon Game Studio?
Amazon Game Studio.
AGS.
Yeah.
How do you put somebody whose idea is, okay, so let's make a good game, cheap, that is recognizable and unique and does things no game has ever done better than all the other games, but it's not like anything else, but it's easy to get into. That was this guy's pitch. Like, if you read the article, he literally just went, it sounded like somebody on Twitter that was just telling, like, why don't you fix your game? Like, it sounded like they put him in charge of the entire studio. Like, I don't understand what happened there.
That to me sounds like, that to me sounds like it's one of those things where they're pitching to people who have no idea what the fuck the industry is, that have money, and are like, hey, that sounds really profitable. I'm in. Fast forward to now.
I think that could make money.
Yeah. Candy Crush is a lot of fun. My kid plays that all the time, I think, maybe.
Just do that,
something
but
about
better.
a fort and,
is this like that function game?
Yes.
I've been told we need to make games every 2 weeks because this Fortnite thing is really big.
Right. Yeah. An interesting thing. I do want to read that Schreier article, though. I didn't realize that came out. It sounds like both you and Co have quoted it now. It's got some interesting information in it. What else is there?
Kind of funny because Jason, the way I found out about it was him putting a tweet up, and he was basically like, yeah, turns out the guy that I wrote this article about that hates it said that it was an attack and that he really doesn't like it. Check it out here.
The Jason Schreier way is really what I would say that is.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
All right.
The other big bit of news was the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Coming out on May the 14th. It is a remaster 4K 60. A lot of the footage they showed also looks fantastic for this. And I think this also goes to show Mass Effect was like kind of beloved. Like I knew that this was a well-liked franchise, but the amount of like outpouring, holy fuck, I can't wait to replay these games yesterday I was a little taken aback by that. Yeah.
Folks, don't pre-order games. I pre-ordered it, and the limited edition, and the helmet, and all the merch I could possibly get.
Oh, I was looking at that helmet too. What does the helmet run?
Wait, there's a helmet?
Like $150 that it doesn't include the game, or like $200. I don't remember. Too much money.
There's a helmet, Co. It's a life-size helmet.
It's a life-size helmet with LEDs.
Yeah, it's got LEDs on it, Co.
It does not include the game.
It's this, Co. It's this. Look at that helmet. I kind of want that helmet.
I just for no particular reason. Where do you get it?
I don't know. I was trying to find that link quickly. Too.
It's at gear.bioware.com.
You have to buy it straight from them.
Hold on, guys. I got to check a website that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now.
What are the two things?
Can you find the link? Go.
Yeah, Renegade.
Yeah. They have a Paragon Renegade fidget spinner, which I thought was cool.
Right.
Nice.
And they have t-shirts for both.
Look at that. Fancy.
Anyway.
I will say there was, in a lot of this, I mean, you can see it right there. It kind of like upped the amount of lens flare in the game.
It's God rays. Right. Yeah, it's God rays and lens flare.
It looks honestly a little bit like the Legendary Edition looks like up-resed Halo to me. At least that particular thing. You got it?
Appreciate the heads up on that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Good. Dude, when I ordered it, it's literally called Mass Effect Legendary Cache Wave 2.
Right.
So I guess already sold out of something.
Maybe, yeah.
I think Mass Effect was strange in that for at least for my generation, right? This was the game that came out during our teenage years.
Yeah.
Right. It's like how everybody's favorite Final Fantasy is usually the first one they've played. for no particular reason, but that is the best Final Fantasy they've ever played. Mass Effect's kind of that. Like, Mass Effect was the first big thing that I played that extended for 7 years of my life. You'd play the game and you'd leave your Shepard, and then for 3 years you'd be like, oh boy, what happens next? What happens next? What happens next? And you'd just be theorizing and arguing and hoping that things would work out well. I can't wait. I genuinely believe, do not pre-order games. I say this as a developer who's dependent on people pre-ordering games. Pre-ordering games is a terrible idea to run our industry. But holy shit, how am I not going to pre-order? I'm not even pre-ordering it to play this one. I'm pre-ordering because I like Mass Effect and I want more Mass Effect. Give me Mass Effect.
Yeah, I think you're not alone in that, right? I think that there's this sentiment within the gaming world of if you buy a remaster, it's going towards making a new game in that series, right?
Right.
And I think that's kind of where this is.
Right.
This is hitting that. They did a great job of how they structured it. Who knew that EA was good at making money? They do a great job of structuring it in terms of how they released the little trailer that we saw. Now that is going to fund the next thing, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Right.
Also, the trailer, just a well-made trailer for my interest. The music was on point. It was very well made.
Right.
Yeah, it was good.
I cannot wait for that game. If my mom finishes Ghost of Tsushima close enough to the release of Mass Effect, I think I'm going to suggest she plays those next.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that they are made a bit more accessible, maybe, than they used to be. But they already did that interesting thing with story mode, narrative mode, action mode. So I feel like they were already that game.
I did this right here was a low. I saw the Citadel and I was like, I don't want to walk. I kind of do.
Right.
Maybe it's gonna be a little bit better. But walking around the Citadel was a lot.
These games. The Normandy. The reveal of the Normandy in Mass Effect 2 is probably one of the best games moments ever. Probably is. A lot of good video games moments, but the reveal of the Normandy 2 is up there.
Yeah.
Did you know the music for that scene is played a little faster than it should be?
Mm-mm.
If you listen to the
From
version
FPS,
that plays in the game,
why does it play faster? Just cause?
I think they cut the cuts. They made the cutscene a little shorter, and they couldn't recompose the music, so they just play the music a little faster.
Sped it up.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
If you listen to the version in the game and you compare it to the version on the soundtrack, it's different.
Makes sense.
Makes me very happy.
Yeah.
It's how do we fix this? Can we play it 20% faster? It'll sound different. Nobody will know what the original was supposed to sound like.
Yeah, wouldn't you'd have to play it at a certain specific speed faster in order to sound warped or out of key?
Yeah.
Right.
I'd imagine.
So up until that point, they just went can we just play it a bit faster? It'll be fine.
They figured it out. Yeah. Zeke, do you have an affinity for Mass Effect at all?
I played through it. Actually, the first time I played through it was on Twitch. I played through 1, 2, and 3, and I really liked it, but I'm nowhere near a lot of people are with this game. The fan status of this game is enormous. It's I'm trying to find a comparison of games that a game series that is as beloved, but in a certain fashion. There's a deep emotional attachment. Not just I love this game, I love playing it, but there's an emotional attachment to Mass Effect that maybe KOTOR
Halo
would be a good.
Halo's also
Halo, Final Fantasy,
Dragon Age, maybe. Yeah.
It's
Yakuza.
Yeah, that's not a bad. Yeah, I could see Yakuza
I think it's
fitting that.
the thing that happened is these were games that came out over a longer period of time that people had time to really become fans of, right? Where the characters started meaning more than just being a character because they were your character. And they were your thing, they were your world, and sort of being a fan of it becomes part of your identity, I guess. I know that always is said as like a bad thing, like don't make your fandom your identity, and I think that's true. But I think it's also healthy as you're growing up to look for community and to look for things that you fit into. And I think for a lot of people, those games just happen to hit exactly at that point in their life where they were growing up, trying to find a home, trying to find who they were, trying to find who their friends were, trying to find things to talk about with their social groups. They become part of you. Mass Effect is part of me. Like there's no way you can strip away Mass Effect and still have me for some reason. I just don't see that Rami working.
That might all be true, but I think some people just wanted to fuck some aliens, Rami, at the end of the day.
I mean, that is also part of people. And for some people, that is, everybody is their own thing.
Yeah, totally. Not shaming, just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think the BioShock series is probably that for me, Rami.
Right. Yeah. No, but it's the same thing, right? Like they're the kind of games where you just become attached to everything about it.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to like it. I think nobody that loves Mass Effect loved the ending.
No, in fact, it's maybe one of the biggest controversial things that's happened in the gaming industry. Yeah.
Right.
They redid it.
Yeah.
Like it was that much of an issue. Granted, the remade one is a lot better. Like I played it later and redid that and did all the different. It is a lot better. If you were one of those original people that did the first like Mimi ending, the Pokemon ending, definitely check it out again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the extended cut was really good.
Yeah. And then of course the other big news was that there's a almost 10-foot woman in Resident Evil Village, and everyone's really horny about her.
I mean, I'm Dutch. I just listened to that. I'm like, that sounds like walking around here. Like, I'm not. I'm very confused by what is happening.
I don't.
Well, it couldn't just be. It was an amalgamation of things. It was super 9'6", super tall.
Yeah.
Had a vampirish gothic look, but also giant jugs. And I'm not being like trying to make a joke about that. Like all those things together, were a perfect storm of
perfect storm for horny meanness. Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love that it was such a bizarre thing, and then we'll do some shout outs. It was the type of thing where they made a actual statement from the game's director. I forget who it actually was, a dev member, saying, by the way, guys, just to really wet your whistle, she's 9'6", just FYI. And then from that, you saw other game companies out there memeing on the fact that they're they've got a 9'6" woman, and our character is this tall. So
I was this close to just declaring every Nuclear Throne character 9'6", all of them.
Why not, man?
That large.
Right.
Yeah.
My favorite one was it Bandai Namco tweeted we did it first, and it showed the glorious chest ahead lady.
Yeah.
The one that's laying down. It's we did it first.
Yeah.
I was like, that was good. Wow, that was really good.
It was funny seeing game social media just meme out on that, which why not? That's fun. It's I'm glad that was a focus of the week and not some horrible story, right? So
give poor social media folks a break. Let them do horny Twitter.
Let them meme. It's fun. What were you gonna say, Co?
I was gonna say we missed a couple little bits of news, the Gearbox act and stuff like that. But I unfortunately really gotta go.
Yeah. We'll circle back on that stuff next week. I don't think. Oh, and then also today they announced Total War Warhammer 3. That was today's big news with a really cool cutscene or cinematic they put out, not cutscene. Anyways, we do got a wrap, so we'll do that. Zeke, you want to start us off?
You bet. Thank you, Rami, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Co and JP, for being wonderful co-hosts every week, week in, week out. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I will be live here in about an hour to do my PC build. Now, I know I've said that before, but this time we're actually going to do it no matter what. Okay. Unless, like I said on Twitter, unless there's a Sharknado. in which case I would have to postpone. But we will be finishing my PC build. We're got to put the cooler in and a few other things, put the case on, and install some shit. So if you want to join us for that, just going to be a real cool, relaxing, maybe time. But tomorrow, Fall Guys Extreme Tournament for charity happening at 11 a.m. Pacific on all of the people who are participating channel, including mine. But if you want to watch the commentary and stuff, it's on Devolver Digital's channel. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. And then CD Romathon continues on Friday at 10 a.m. with the conclusion of the dig and the beginning of Mad Dog McCree. That's all I got. Thank you.
Good stuff. Co, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Absolutely. As always, a big thank you to JP and Zeke. Very fun this week. A shout out as always to Rami. Thank you for joining us and bringing your insight and everything. My name is Co. Hello. You can find me at 8 a.m. every day. Tomorrow, I think we're going to do more Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous beta, maybe some Neo 2. Path of Exile is happening in our cozy streams in the evening. Then we've got some other fun games coming up this week. Maybe taking a look at Werewolf, as well as, oh Lord, what's that game called? Not Valhalla. Val something? Maybe taking a look at that too with the mods at some point. Yeah, it'd be fun.
One that Bike Man played?
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Valheim.
Valheim. There we go. It looks very cool. Yeah, maybe checking that one out as well. Then we've got all sorts of other funny games coming up later in the month. Hope you join us for them. And as always, thank you guys for watching. If I don't see you in the channel, we'll see you here next week. Same bad time, same bad place on Drop Frames.
Cool. Rami, do some shout outs. I got tongue tied.
Oh, right. All right. I play video games. I make video games. I don't really have. It's annoying since I quit Vlambeer. I don't really have a quick, short thing to say. So, I play video games. At @THA_Rami on Twitch. I tweet about the games industry at @THA_Rami. I have a podcast now about video games and being Arab, called The Habibis at thehabibis.com.
Nice.
Check that out, I guess. Yeah, if you want to see somebody sort of semi-fly a Boeing 787 sometime, come hang out. And otherwise, thank you so much for having me to the crew here. Thank you so much for being a lovely chat as always. And I hope to see you sometimes in the future when I hopefully won't be late.
Hey, we'll just chalk up the lateness to, time zones.
Actually, I had to look up what Habibis mean. I didn't know it means like friends, lovers, right? Something like that.
Right.
Like roughly translated.
Right.
Okay.
Everybody's a Habibi. You're all my Habibis.
Great. I'll add that to my to next week's shadow list for sure.
You're my daddy.
Is that how that works?
Why would you do that?
Because I'm an asshole. You know this.
All right, guys, we're gonna get out.
English.com?
Thank you so much for watching Drop Frames. We'll be back next week, as we are always on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Rami.
Fuck.
We're out. Bye-bye.